Hey, Bob Shogan here with my top 5 highlights from Kenya. I'm going to be giving them to you in a decreasing order, so my first one will be number 5. The 5th one on my list was meeting with Pastor Patrick. I have worked with him for years. He has been to India with training for Simply the Story, which is another group that trains pastors. While in India, he met Nepalese pastors. Since that time, Patrick has been trained in Unveiling Glory material, and he has gone back to India and shared it with those Nepalese pastors. They now want him to come to Nepal and to train them in this material, so he was asking me to join him this year. If it all gets confirmed, I'll be going over in early September. 4th on my list was one of our youngest team members. His name was Jaden. He was 12 years old, though he is very mature, and warmed up nicely to the team. He ended up having a couple of other team members who were like big brothers and sisters to him. The highlight came when on the last night we were together as a team, we had to say something positive about each other person. It came time for him to talk about his mother. He began to cry and thanked her for adopting him so we could come on such a wonderful trip. His mom started crying and said that he had never said this before. This was almost worth the entire trip. On the second to the last day of the trip, he actually turned 13. My 3rd highlight came from the appreciation night, that same thing that I was just talking about. Multiple people said, Debbie, when you called me, I thought, is this woman really this nice? And now that I've been here the whole week, I see that you really are this nice. You're amazing. Hey, I've always signed my emails, privileged to be married to Debbie Shogan. This is true. She is an amazing woman and an amazing wife. The second greatest highlight came from the girls that we took the soccer jerseys to. You have to understand what it is like for them. They are not recognized by their society and especially by their fathers. Many believe they are simply supposed to get pregnant and be married off to an older man, and that is their lot in life. In a video taken years ago, one young girl said, "My parents are more worried about their dowry than me." I know that these girls are now comfortable having these Delivering Dignity kits, and now knowing that they want to learn how to play soccer. It was so wonderful to see the excitement, to hear the giggles, to see the joy in these girls' eyes when they realized they would have jerseys. By the way, the boys don't even have jerseys. And that they would be playing in a league with a trophy to the winner. I truly felt like we were obeying God's word to love on the poor. We were fulfilling God's desire to be a blessing to others. These young ladies certainly are part of the poor, and you have to go to some of them almost to the ends of the earth to get to them. All of this brings deep, abiding satisfaction. The final and greatest highlight came the last day when I met a man by the name of George. Back in 2020, I held a pastors' meeting in Kenya where multiple pastors came to be trained. I met them all, but didn't remember all of them. George was one of those pastors. He was highly impacted by the material and began teaching it everywhere he went. I reacquainted myself with him just in the past few months and invited him over to the hotel to meet with him. I was astonished. He has a high school ministry and speaks to over 4,000 students each month. He can do this because, unlike the United States, it is required to have Bible in the schools if you are a Christian. So he has an open invitation to speak in 15 different schools. His greatest impact has been teaching the students about eternal security. Once they realize that they are eternally secure, something switched inside of them. They now want to serve God, whereas before they had to serve God to keep their salvation. That concept alone was transforming for the students. He told me story after story, which really encouraged me. I'm going to keep in touch with him on a regular, ongoing basis and try to help him as much as I can theologically, since I've discovered so much more since 2020. Well, that's it. I hope that encourages you. I'll be sending you another video about my time with the Wata elders. That was so powerful. Thanks for all you do in keeping us in this ministry full time so we can be a blessing to so many others. We really are seeing lives change for His glory.